There was a time when owning a home wasn't a milestone. It was expected. One income, a modest job, a small house, nothing extravagant, just normal. Today, that version of reality feels almost fictional. Because for millions of people, the starter home is disappearing. Not slowly, but decisively. Prices are higher, rates are higher, and the math doesn't work the way it used to. So what changed? Because people didn't suddenly stop wanting homes. If anything, demand is stronger than ever. But the system around housing has quietly transformed. Let's start with the simplest idea. What is a starter home? Smaller, more affordable, something you could realistically buy early in your career. Build equity, move up later. That was the path. But that path depends on one thing: affordability. And affordability isn't just about price. It's about the relationship between income and cost. And that relationship has broken. Over the past few decades, home prices have risen much faster than wages. Not slightly, significantly. So even if incomes grow, they don't keep up. Which means each year, homes become harder to reach. Now add interest rates. For years, money was cheap. Very cheap. Low rates made high prices feel manageable. Monthly payments stayed within reach. But when rates rise, everything changes. Because buyers don't think in total price. They think in monthly cost. And when borrowing becomes expensive, that cost jumps. Fast. The same house becomes unaffordable overnight. Now here's where things get more complicated. Supply. There simply aren't enough homes, especially at the lower end of the market. Why? Because building starter homes isn't as profitable. Developers face rising costs. Land, materials, labor. So instead of building smaller, affordable homes, they build bigger, more expensive ones. They build larger, higher margin ones. Homes that maximize return, not accessibility. At the same time, existing homeowners aren't selling. Because many locked in low mortgage rates years ago. Selling means giving that up and taking on a much higher rate. So they stay, which reduces supply even further. Fewer homes, more competition, higher prices. Now layer in something else. Investors. Over the last decade, institutional buyers entered the housing market, not as residents, but as asset managers. Homes became investments. Rental income, long-term appreciation, and when large players enter a limited market, they don't just participate, they compete. Often with more capital, faster decisions, which pushes prices higher. Especially in the exact segment first-time buyers are trying to enter. Now combine all of this. Higher prices, higher rates, limited supply, investor competition, and stagnant affordability. The result? The entry point disappears. Not completely, but enough to change behavior. People delay buying. They rent longer. They move less, or they give up entirely. And here's the irony. Housing is often framed as a symbol of stability, but the system now rewards those already inside it, and makes it harder for new buyers to enter. Then, so the ladder still exists, but the first step is much higher. Now zoom out. This isn't just about individuals. It affects the entire economy, because housing drives mobility, family formation, wealth building. And when access becomes restricted, those patterns shift. Slower household growth, delayed life decisions, and widening gaps between those who own and those who don't. Now publicly, the narrative often sounds simple. Just save more. Wait for prices to fall. But the underlying mechanics are far more structural. This isn't just a timing issue. It's a system design issue. Because when affordability breaks, it doesn't fix itself quickly. It takes time, policy changes, market adjustments, or external shocks. And until then, the pressure builds, quietly, So is the starter home truly dead? Not entirely, but it's no longer what it used to be. It's rarer, more competitive, and for many, out of reach, at least for now, which leads to a more uncomfortable question. If the first step into homeownership keeps moving further away, what happens to a system that was built on the idea that almost everyone could eventually step into it?